So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, I owe more than what I...
Wait. Where are y'all getting 17% interest rates from? What kind of student loans are these? And why was y'all not reading the fine print when you decided to sign up? Like, in addition to that, you didn't have no parents or nothing. Like, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I'm going to get to the video in a second. I got a 17-year-old daughter, and no way in the world that I would ever let her, A, take out a student loan, B, I would rather her go to community college, C, you not grown, so you don't even get to determine where you go to college at, and D, I'm not going to ever let you sign up for something that you got to pay a 17% interest rate on. I wouldn't let you do that for a credit card. Let me start over. Give me a second.
Student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, I owe more than what I started off with. So Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool time to Venmo me, bro. I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend that much on school. Any rich person, please tap in. Courtney.
I'm assuming that she probably spent maybe $85,000 on school, $83,000 on school, maybe a little bit more.
Kardashian, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding war. Just take them. What do you want? My left arm too? What the f am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be in debt for my whole life. How does that even make sense? I signed up for this when I was 17. This should not be legal, bro. I got upset about it at work, and my coworker was like, don't you have a rich relative who can pay that for you? No, my family's poor. No. And the worst part is, bro, look where I am. I can't go in because I can't spend money, but I just want to be here.
This is stupid for a lot of these people. Y'all gonna have to get a second job. That's just the way that it is. You're gonna have to get a second job, and you're gonna have to stop spending, and you're not gonna be able to live the life that you want to live for the next 5 to 6 years. And you're gonna have to hustle. You're gonna have to grind, put down your privilege, and hustle. And nobody owes you nothing. That's the gist of it. I don't see any guys sitting here whining about it. And matter of fact, let me tell you what I've seen, right? I've seen throughout this whole time, almost my entire life, I've seen women, black women, white women, Indian women, Asian women. I've been seeing Hispanic women, Mexican women, and they've been championing how much more educated they are than guys. Well, it turns out that maybe you guys wasn't so smart at all, because just because you got a degree didn't necessarily mean that it was going to translate into success. And so the first question that I'm asking is, when you spent $85,000 for your degree, right? Because she says she's paying $1,500 a month for 2 years, right? That's the equivalent of $18,000, $36,000, but then at the same time you're paying interest. So if you would have been paying it during the time that Trump then instituted the student loan moratorium, or Biden instituted the student loan moratorium, or he kept it on, then that means you would have been knocking down that interest, right? You would have been knocking down that interest, or you would have been knocking down the principal that ultimately the interest was going to kick back in for. So remember, when the rent, or not the rent moratorium, when the student loan pause happened, it didn't wipe away the debt. And one of the reasons that people voted for Biden was because they thought that they were going to get their debt discharged completely. And so what they did was, instead of keeping paying it, they said, I don't want to give no extra money to the federal government. I don't want to pay down the principal, because eventually it was going to kick back in. Now the interest is kicking back in, because the interest didn't even kick in, because she said that she's been paying it for, and I'm assuming that this got to be a private loan. If you're getting 17% interest and the interest was still accruing the whole time, it had to be some form of a private loan. It wasn't the original student loan that you get that's available for most students, all right? Maybe you went to a private college, maybe it was insane. That's the first thing. Second thing, I don't know what you've went into unless you was going to be a lawyer or some form of a doctor. What degree program or curriculum or field of study did you go into where you are now $90,000 in debt? Now, she also says that she's been paying $1,500 a month for the last 2 years, and that means that she should have significantly been eaten into the principal because the student loans, the interest on them didn't even really start kicking back in until fairly recently, right? So that means y'all should have been knocking that junk down. You paying $1,000 a month, you have no interest, and she said that she didn't even take out that amount of money in $90,000 in student loans. Well, then that means that you would have been knocking out $12,000 a year if you was only paying $1,000 a month, $18,000 a year if you was paying $1,500 a month, and it would have been going 100% to the principal, and you would have been eating into that balance, right? Now we in 2025 as of the recording of this video, and so you should have been significantly eating into that. So when the actual loans kick back in, when the interest kick back in, now you paying significantly less in principal. You got more going into, or significantly less in interest. You got more going to the principal, and you can get that paid off. People should have had second jobs. They should have continued to run up a bag. They should have lowered their lifestyle. They was shopping at TJ Maxx. They was hanging out at Neiman Marcus. They was hanging out at Macy's. They was out at the mall. They was having a good time. Everybody was rocking. The money was flowing. People was taking money out of their homes and all of this stuff. But nobody thought to actually pay off their student loans. Now, they want to hold the federal government asking rich people for handouts in order to try to help them out. Hey, Rich Bezos, this would be a great time for you to Venmo me because we don't want to be responsible. And I seen people in the chat. I actually went and looked at her profile. It looks as though she has close to 1 million people on TikTok. You had to use some of that money in order to be able to pay off that student loan. What you doing crying? You got 1 million people that follow you, and so you got to be in the Creator Rewards program, and you're telling us that you are complaining about $90,000 in student loans when you could literally wipe that out in no time? Man, listen, bro, it's hard for me to feel sorry for people because they chose this. And then they like to make the excuse and say, well, I was a young person when I signed up for it. You can sign up for the military, but guess what? You can't just automatically discharge yourself. You still got to fight that war. You still got to go through it. You got to go through basic training. You got to continue to do whatever it is that you got to do to take care of business. And so you're old enough to go off to school. You old enough to pick your college. You old enough to bust it down for a real one. You old enough to take out the loans and the credit cards, but you're not old enough to be able to pay it back. Now it's an issue. Now it's a problem because the federal government want their money back. Taxpayers want their money back, and they actually want you to pay the money that you took out in order to get educated. That was supposed to be an investment in your future. What did you go into? Why didn't you actually pick a curriculum that would allow for you to be able to pay that off significantly faster? I'll tell you why. Because we live in a cupcake coddled society that does not hold people accountable, that allows for people to do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it. And then at some point they say, I want to be absolved of the responsibility. But I'll tell you this, a couple different things that don't get discharged in bankruptcy. Student loans, taxes. You got to eat that. So I don't know what she's supposed to do. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love y'all. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.